So now we're going to go ahead and write a class that's going to allow us to see which block we are located in based on a given row and a given column. So the blocks are these. It's basically a 3x3 blocks. There are 3x3 blocks. There are 9 3x3 blocks within our Sudoku board. So we have our 9x9 Sudoku board, and then we have these 3x3 blocks. And, you know, this is one, this is, you know, this is the second one, you know, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and, you know, this is the last one, which is the ninth one. So based on a given row and a column, we need to figure out where we are in the blocks and then give the blocks starting point. So let's say if it was like 6 and 6, right? It would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the row. And the column was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 6 by 6. And we would say, oh, we're within this block. And what is the starting point of this? It happens to be 6 and 6. But if it was, you know, 7 and 7, so let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this one would be, you know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be the middle of the, you know, of the block. That would still be the same block, and we would still return 6 and 6 because that's the starting point of the block. So, you know, that's what we would do. And now we are actually going to do it. As to why we need this, you'll see in a little bit. But this is a class that we need. We need this functionality to make the rest of our, you know, work easier. And I just wanted to kind of explain you the purpose, like what it's going to do, what it's going to take in, and what it's going to perform. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Solution Explorer, and I'm going to create SudokuMapper. So I'm going to say create class called SudokuMapper, and then I'm going to say, all right, well, this is the SudokuMapper, and I'm going to say public SudokuMap. That's the you know, object that's being returned. I'm going to say find and given row, and then I'm going to say int given call, and this Sudoku map, you might be wondering where it is. Like, it doesn't exist. I will be creating this in a little bit, but I just want to put that there. You know, this is our style of writing. You've already been used to it. I write things that don't exist and I create them afterwards. So this is just a basic structure I'm trying to get down. It's going to, you know, create this and then pop some stuff in it and then return the Sudoku map. Now let's go ahead and actually create that. So I'm going to go ahead and create another folder, call that data, and then within that create the class. I'm going to call it Sudoku map. Sudoku map, inside of it, will have public int start row, and that's that, and it's going to have a get set, and then it's going to have public int start call, and it's going to say get set. Nice. So we have the data structure down, and we just need to import it. So it's going to say using Sudoku solver data, which we do want to do. And now we're going to figure out how to see if we are within a given block based on a given row and a given column. So there's going to be a bunch of conditional statements. I'm going to say if given row is greater than or equal to 0 and given row is less than or equal to 2 and given column is greater than or equal to 0 and given column is less than or equal to 2, then we know we're in the first section. And I'm going to say Sudoku map start row, or start row first, is 0, and Sudoku map start column is 0 as well. Let me go over this real quick, and then the rest of it, once you get the gist, it'll be a lot easier. So here it is. So given row in given row, right, we say if it's 0 or 2. So we're saying if it's 0, so if it's 0, 1, 2, it's between this range. So if it's greater than or equal to 0, so if it's 0 or 1 or 2, which will still be within the range. If it's 3, it's not going to be within the range. But if it's 0, 1, or 2 for the rows, and 0, 1, or 2 for the columns, then we know we're grabbing this box. We got this much. And we're saying the starting point of that is 0, because that's where it starts. Now we're going to do the same thing for this box. For this box, the row range stays the same. So what we can do is basically copy this, say else, if, and then say if the given row range is the same, so it is the same, 0 to 2, and this one is going to go from 3 to 5. And the start row will be 0, but the start column will be 3. Let's see why. Same range, but the column is now 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes from 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Same row range. So we're grabbing that, and then the start row is pretty much 0 still, but the start column is 3. That's why we're saying start column is 3. Let's do the same thing for the last block in that line, so to speak. You can almost look at it as lines. I'm going to refer to them as lines. So first line, second line, and third line. And we're going to say, okay, given row range is the same. And then we're going to go and say 6 to 8. And the given column, or the start column, is going to be 6. So let's see why. Because the row range, once again, is the same. And the columns, it's going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 6, 7, and 8. And that's going to grab that last one. And then the start row is still 0, but the start column is 6, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the start column. So now we basically took care of the first line, of all the sections in the first line. And now let's go to the middle. For that, we are going to say else if, the same line, if the given row is between 3 and 5, and the given column is between 0 and 2, then say start row is 3, start column is 0. Let's check this out real quick. So 3 to 5, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're grabbing this row range now. And the column is 0 to 2, so it's 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And the start row will be 3, and start column will be 0. And that's exactly what we have. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the middle guy right here. And for that one, it's actually pretty simple. It's 3 to 5 and 3 to 5. And guess what this is going to be? It's going to be 3. Exactly. So we're going to grab this guy because it's the same row range, but the column range is 3, 5 as well. And then this is 3 and 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's it. And then the last section on this line going to be the same row range, but the column range is going to go from 6 to 8. And column is actually going to be 6 now. So you'll see it's going to be same row range once again, but then column is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. And then this is, still row 3, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and then the column is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the starting point of the this block that we're getting. So now we need to take care of the last line, all the blocks of the last line. So the row range is going to be, guess what? 6, 8. Exactly right. The first one is going to be 0 to 2, and the starting row is going to be 6. Starting column is going to be 0. Let's see. So the row range is this, and then the column is 0 to 2. So we're saying 0 to 2. And the row is 6, and the column is 0. That's exactly right. So now let's grab the second section within that last line. So the second section would be 6 to 8, still row range, same row range, and then 3 to 5. And this will be start column, and the start column will actually be 3. because it starts from 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. But it's the last row range because, and that goes from 6 to 8. That's why we have 6. So it's this guy, the starting point. But we are grabbing this entire, entire block. And now it's the last one, which I'm pretty sure you've already guessed how to do. 6 to 8, and go to 6 to 8. And this is going to be 6 to 6. So it's actually very intuitive. And 6 to 8, and then, it's going to be 6 to 8. So this first line is going to be, just like our example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is this. And then the whole block is what we are targeting. So that's it. We are now done with this class, and we're going to be using this in our application, and you'll see how this is going to be helpful for us.